What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 5 of The Climb here with Luzenak, and we're back again to take on a familiar foe at this point. At this point, they are the Barry of France. Some of you will get that reference, many of you won't, but the Barry of France, Toulouse Metropole, who are now down in 3rd. Yes, they have fallen by the wayside as of late, and well, I'll tell you what, we have been very much in the ascendancy. You may have noticed in the top right, we are in March. Yes, I have played a lot of games since you were last here, 11 in all competitions. I was hoping to come back today for a cup game in a cup final, in fact, not just any cup game, a cup final and a league game, but we lost in the semi-final. We lost in the Should we just talk about that right away? I know it's slap bang in the middle of the results since your last year, but I want to just get it off my chest. We lost on penalties. It was 1-1. We took on Stade Balarecu, or Requa, I think, is probably how you'd say it. Our team was tired. Their team was tired. It was a ding-dong affair. Players were missing, well, penalties left, right and centre. In the end, they scraped by. You can see the stats here. I'm annoyed about it. I didn't think I cared about the cup. It turns out I really did. Even more so because Toulouse Metropole may end up winning it. As a result, Balacroix, we're going to be cheering you on. Please do us proud whenever the final is. I'm trying not to think about the final. I think it's in a couple of days' time. Oh, what could have been. Anyway, you will notice here a big wall of results since your last here. Let's talk about this whilst, I guess, taking a few tangents off here and there to talk about goings on off the pitch. Well, first game, 8-0 win against Perpignan. Not a bad result, was it? Pongol with a hat-trick. What a player he is. What a player he is. He's also injured. He tore his hamstring, everyone. He played about the first 3 of this run of games, and then from there, it's just been an absolute disaster for Florent. I feel like every time we come back for an episode, he's just injured with something else. It's an ongoing issue. I feel like at the age of 35, I kind of just have to cut my losses at a point and say, you know what? It's probably not worth having a player like this in the team who we rely on so heavily like we do with Florent Semenin Pongol, because clearly, whenever he's injured, we do have little blips here and there, and I should be building around some different players. One player who I think could be the person to build around has a very smiley face here. We'll talk more about him in a second. But yes, 8-0 in that first game. We then took on Saint-Oran at a 2-0 win here. Good little result. And Mitaki got both goals. The man who I just was going to talk about, he's been Mr. Goal Scorer for us. But yeah, 2 very good goals in this game. Made even sweeter by the fact that Karabouali got the goals for us. Now, yesterday I talked about the fact he complains all the time, Karabouali. Someone suggested nicknaming him Karen Buali, because Karens complain. I mean, that's what teenage kids have been telling me on the internet. Anyway, I feel like it's quite a fitting nickname. If there's any Karens watching, I am sorry. But yeah, Karabuali, now Karen Buali. And to be fair, since I've nicknamed him, he's played quite well and he's kind of stopped complaining. As you saw in that last game, he got 2 assists. Anyway, we then took on Stade Balouquois. I'm definitely not saying that correctly, but this is the team we lost to in the Cup. We played them the weekend before we played them in the Cup. We beat them 3-0. What was the difference between this game and the game after? Pongol got injured in this game. He actually scored from the penalty spot. Then Czech Umar Traore got a goal and Chenine with one. He's just doing really, really well out on the right wing, Chenine. I've been so pleasantly surprised by him. So that was a good win. You know, 8-0, 2-0, 3-0. Then you lose that cup game and you start to wonder, oh, we're going to have some issues here. And to be fair, against Patet, a team that we have lost to before, I was concerned going into it. We scored another penalty in this game through Ngayala. We've had a lot of those in this run of games, but the game of the match, or the goal of the match rather, was Walid Chenine's long-range solo effort, picks it up just inside the opposition half, weaves through, shrugs off a few tackles, smashes it into the top bins. Oh, let me tell you now, I was enjoying that goal far, far too much. Anyway, the next couple of games, some good performances here. US Revel, we beat 5-2, conceding a few, scoring a lot. You can see the goal scorers here. Mutaki and Gayala, the usual suspects. John Justin also popping up with a goal, which was great to see for the 29-year-old. And in their following game against Olympique Giroud, an unusual goal scorer in a late flurry of goals. We were drawing this game until the last 10 minutes, and then Chapeau, the youngster, came on off the bench, and he grabbed 2. Now, you look at him, and he doesn't wow you, but he is one of our better young prospects. He's a player who we promoted from the reserve team. I'm quite keen on him in a bizarre way. And yeah, he played pretty well in this game here. He had the desired impact. His first 2 senior goals, and they did secure what ended up being a pretty comfortable win, at least when you glance at the scoreline, we know the truth, though. That was not comfortable one little bit. And, well, it didn't get any more comfortable. In fact, against Narbonne, it was the most uncomfortable seat I've sat in all season, I think. We lost this one 2-1. Look at the stats in the bottom left and understand why I'm annoyed. N'Gayala scored a penalty. Of course he did. He's missed the penalties. He's scored 4 penalties in the last 5 games in this run of games that we're just covering. But yes, he got a penalty here. We went a goal up. And then we conceded 2. Fontana with the first, Laveur with the second as it was squared over to him. I'm upset thinking about it. I don't know how we lost this. It's just one of those games. I hate to use the excuse. It's just one of those games. We didn't create enough from open play, I suppose. We didn't really take the chances that came our way. You can see John Justin started up front and couldn't score. And neither could Yassin. And to be honest, between Yassin and John Justin, I've been pretty disappointed. I know some of you who have been playing along kind of in your own time, you know, with the same database that was linked in the first episode, and you've all been telling me about how good either of these players are. I've not been able to get either of them firing. They have just not been the players that we've looked on, and in fact, it's been those youngsters that we've been relying on all so heavily. So anyway, that was the game against Narbonne, the first of 2 defeats in the league in this run of games. We then took on Carcassonne, 4-0 win, very convincing, love to see it. Chinchilla with a goal, Mutaki and N'Gayala. And then we lost 3-1 against Pibracasse. Yes, a team who we took on a couple of episodes ago now. In fact, no, I say a couple of episodes ago. No, it was just last episode we took them on, took the lead in this game, and completely bottled it. I don't want to talk about it. I mean, the silver lining here is we've been scoring a lot of goals and scoring pretty much in every game this season. The downside is we definitely have issues defensively that we probably need to address at some point. Anyway, most recently we took on SC Saint Esteve, and fortunately for us, we held on to the win in this one. We went 3-0 up, it finished 3-2, but the real talking point here is the fact that Mutaki grabbed a 12-minute hat-trick. You absolutely love to see it. A real variety of goals as well. He has just propelled himself, I guess, in this run of games to just being our starting striker. As I mentioned, I've struggled to get the other players firing. He has been the one striker that has just seemingly been getting the goals for us. I'm sure you've experienced it in Football Manager. You can change things up, rotate things around, and sometimes there's just one striker and he's the one you just have to rely on. And to be fair, 16 goals in 23 games is a really, really impressive return for him. And what's even more encouraging is the fact he is improving on the pitch in training. It's also worth noting that he's now, well, his primary nationality is now considered Algerian. He is also Moroccan and French. I can't see him getting French caps, but it might be interesting to see if either Algeria or Morocco give him the nod down the line. You'd imagine he needs to improve quite a bit for that. And if you believe what our staff tell us, and to be honest, it's probably a barefaced lie, he might not have that much left in the tank in the way of performance to continue to develop. As I said, he's been doing a really good job for us though. With Simona Pongol out, we've needed a player who could come in, and we have struggled in the striking position, but you can see here, obviously, he's played out on the left, he's played in the middle, he's actually had his best performances down the middle, which has been pretty fortunate for us. Because the other player we've been kind of trying to squeeze into the team is obviously Corentin N'Gayala. He has just been absolutely superb. He scored a lot of goals to start the year, got injured for a long period of time. He has come back from his injury and performed very, very well. 15 goals in the league, a 7.44 average rating. Yeah, it has kind of turned into the Mutaki and N'Gayala show. You can see I did trial him at striker, but he's just not been putting in the performances, which feels a little bit odd when he's naturally a striker and only accomplished on the left wing. But sometimes that's just how Football Manager is and how players are. And, well, this is kind of the team that we've started to settle into now. With Simona Pongol out, I've kind of accepted the fact that he's not worth relying on. He's just not consistent enough. I think if we do get promoted next year, even if he was possible to renew his contract, I probably wouldn't do it. Even on an amateur deal, I feel like we need to be giving the game time to the youngsters, you know, a bit of long-term strategy, I suppose. So with him out, it's been Mutaki, N'Gayala, and also Shanine out on the right-hand side really doing bits for us. Of course, Shanine only joined us halfway through the year. He has now played 16 games, and he's got 9 assists in those, which is absolutely bananas, because if we just look at the league leaders, he is leading the way for assists. He's got one of the best average ratings in the league. Ironically, Simona Pongol has the best average rating in the league when he's fit. He's just not been fit nearly enough. And as I mentioned, Kerem Bouali has just been putting in a string of really good performances, a little bit under the radar. He's now got 7 assists in 14. I did drop him for a short period of time, but yeah, a right wing back, he's kind of just started to lock down the position as his own. And at 32, he's not shown a massive amount of decline when it comes to his physicals, which is pretty nice, to be honest, because I don't know, when he gets to kind of 32 to 35, you kind of always just worry that at some point you're going to go onto the player's profile and there's just going to be that sea of dreaded kind of red arrows all the way down, and you kind of know their time's up at that point. It's a bit like taking a pet to the vet, you know, it's inevitable, it's time to get rid of them, it's time to get in someone new. We've not hit that mark with him just yet. But you can see here, throughout the average ratings, we are dotted in and around here, there and everywhere. And, well, despite slipping up twice in the league, which, I mean, I've kind of played it off a little bit, but I'm pretty disappointed about it, in truth. We still look very good. In fact, if we win this game here with 6 games left of the season, we would be very comfortably ahead of Toulouse Metropole. And interestingly enough, you can see here, they have slipped up a little bit as of late. And actually, Narbonne, Fun FC, have moved up into 2nd place off the back of beating us. Could be a really interesting playoff kind of set of games here. I imagine it'll be Toulouse Metropole and Narbonne in the final. But regardless, whichever team gets promoted, we're going to keep a pretty keen eye on, because they're going to be coming up with us next year. If we just take a quick look at the season preview, things have changed a little bit since we were last here, including the Media Dream 11. You can see here, they've got Mutaki out on the left, Shanine on the right, and then Chinchilla down the middle. There is no spot for Ngayala in the team of the tournament, or the best 11 team of the tournament. What is this, the World Cup? Anyway, Tyder holds down the spot in goal. Robert has been very, very good at centre-back this year. I mean, we talked about him a lot. He got a goal last episode, but I really can't understate his kind of influence he's had on the team. He is by far and away one of our best players, and he's been an ever-present part of our defence since he joined us. And despite, you know, not keeping as many clean sheets as I would like, he's definitely done some work for us. So anyway, you can see the remainder of the season is pretty spaced out now between now and the end of May. So in terms of when we're going to come back, next episode I think it'll be US Revel. But before we even think about that, we need to get into this game here. Toulouse Metropole, predicted to finish 3rd. This could be a pretty big game in terms of just, well, signing, sealing and delivering hopefully a title for us. This is the last of our particularly tricky league games. It is worth acknowledging, we've qualified for the playoff, everyone. Yes, I mean, at this point, we're not really looking at the playoffs thinking that's the aim. But no, at this point, I think I'll win here and we're in a really, really good spot. If we lose, it could all go down to the wire, and I'm a little bit scared about the possibility of that. So in terms of the team for today's game, we're going to go with Tyder in goal, Robert playing left centre-back, and his right centre-back partner in crime has really become Lasmi this year, who I've been a bit petrified about getting injured, because he is fairly susceptible to injuries. You can see here, apparently Lasmi and Abad have the same star ratings, and I love Abad. There is part of me that, you know, does like him, but the fundamental issue that I have with him is he's just absolutely awful in the air. Like, it's to a point where I don't think I'd ever play he has 5 jumping reach and he has 9 heading. It's just, it scares me a little bit. Lasmi's got better physicals, is more determined, has a better first touch. There really isn't a huge amount between them. I guess Abad maybe has the edge in mentals, but no, Lasmi has become that kind of second choice centre-back at this point. And to be fair, he's done very good in the shadow of Robert together. Joan, I have persisted with at left-back. He's kind of been improving a little bit. There was a point about halfway through the year where he didn't have above a 7.0 rating across the entirety of the season, which is awful for our team, because with all the wins that we get, most players average comfortably above a 7.0, and he was kind of the exception, but he has started to step things up a little bit. In the midfield, it is Chinchilla and Bar. Jabi has not improved as much as I would like, although actually there has been a little bit of kind of, what's the word? Cause for optimism, I suppose. He's starting to show little moments of brilliance. Of course, with our current facilities, I can't necessarily expect players to improve a whole ton, but you can see here, little improvements here and there really have made a little bit of a difference to his game. And, well, 3 goals and 5 assists, not the craziest returns, but in a team that doesn't really have a whole lot of centre-attacking mid-talent, he has been the first name on the team sheet more often than not. Anyway, on the bench you can see here we've got Bruce Girard, who can play right-back, is in the media team 11 ahead of Karen Bouali, but just hasn't been putting in the same level of performances, particularly in terms of that assist return. Amadou Foul, our only regen currently in the team, is a player who generated out our reserve teams, although sometime this month, and I'm not sure exactly when, sometime this month though, a youth intake will be happening, so that's something to look forward to next time. You might remember the preview from last episode. There's cause for optimism there. And I look forward to bringing you that probably next episode and hopefully gushing over a whole host of new first team names. Anyway, you can see here Trilou plays left back. Oumar Traoré can play anywhere across the attacking midfield. Chipo, I'm continuing to play. He got those 2 goals in that one game. Besides that, he's done not a great deal else. I'm a little bit worried he's going to turn into a bit of a Makeda for Manchester United. You know, came on off the bench, scored 2 big goals, got us a win in a big game. and we're never going to hear from him again. And our last sub spot is Yassine. At the moment, I mean, between him and John Justin, it's kind of difficult to pick which striker to put on the bench because I don't really have a great deal of faith in either of them to have a return. Yassine kind of comes in just off the basis of the fact he is the captain at the club. He is one of the few players with really good leadership in our ranks, but he's not even starting, so what is that really worth? I don't know. I mean, we can talk to him on the bench about the weather and stuff, I suppose. But anyway, let's get into this. Away from home against Toulouse Metropole, we've played them twice in live comms this year, because they are the big rival, really, at this point. They've won one, we've won one. Last time we played them in this fixture away from home, they beat us. This is the last time we are set to meet them this season. And if they don't make it through the playoffs, I fear we may never see them again. So drink this in. I feel like, it's been a brief friendship we've built up with Toulouse Metropole. And I would quite like them to get promoted, to be honest, to keep it going. Although, if Fun make it up, there's more potential for stupid play on words with the commentary. So, I mean, swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Anyway, you can see here, opening 10 minutes, we have a set piece. Shanine whipping it, Ngayala near post. Lasmi gets it back in the danger area. It's all very scrappy. Robert hits the woodwork. And it's cleared out for another corner. Oh my word. A mad scramble to start. I love the fact there are more ball boys than there are fans in the stadium. It's a little bit empty, isn't it? I actually can't see any fans. Bizarre. I think with the floodlights, with the stadiums being at a lower level than I've been in a little while in Football Manager, I've kind of enjoyed just looking at the stadiums. I don't know. The trivia of it really should have worn off by now, I feel like, and it just hasn't. Ngayala not keeping it in, applauds himself. I'm not sure why he's applauding himself. That was absolutely awful. Anyway, let's shout demand more here. Let's get a bit more out of our team. Dizon to Adodi. Karen Buali going back maybe to Lasmi. He has 14 first touch or 13 first touch. Justin through, and Jonathan Justin's... Wait, we have a... They have a player called Jonathan Justin. We have a player called Jonathan Justin. Now, this Jonathan Justin at our team I made because I couldn't find Jonathan Justin. And I think what's happened here is when I made the database and added all the players to Luzenak that didn't exist in the database, what I didn't realise is that Jonathan Justin does actually exist in the database. It's just not called John Justin. His full name. I mean, they're twins. What are the... I mean, we're going to have to write to the FA. Who have we signed? I mean, it can't. It's someone with a fraudulent passport or something. I don't know. Who is the Jonathan Justin that we have? Is it Kumwenda wearing a wig? We may never know. I'll investigate that. I remember someone sending me a screenshot to do with it, and I wasn't sure what they were pointing out, but now I understand. There are two Jonathan Justins in this universe. I kind of want to sign the other one. I don't know what to think. Mutaki whips it in. Headed goalwards, goes just wide. Oh, my word. I'm blown apart by the fact our own player has scored against us. I mean, technically he hasn't, but technically he has. It's all very confusing. Karabuali to Jabi. Now with Karabuali. Goes all the way back to Chowry, who brings it forward. Can we stop him bringing it forward? He skips past everyone, hits it. Tyder holds on to it. Oh, my word. We're a goal down and Jonathan Justin has scored against us. I've never felt so conflicted ever. Shanine whips it in. Ngayala heads it just over the crossbar. That was a decent opportunity for us. Toulouse Metropole holding on here. And, well, we're approaching half-time. And it's 1-0. And I don't know if it's the pressure of the situation, if it's the heat wave we're getting in here in England. But I am feeling sweaty. I'm feeling nervous at this moment in time. The pressure is getting to me. And I'm a little bit flustered by the fact that our own player has scored against us. So what's happened here is Jonathan Justin, well, Luzenak I mentioned in the first episode, a lot of the players in the French 6th tier don't exist. I searched for John Justin and no player showed up. If I'd searched for Jonathan Justin, the real Jonathan Justin would have set up and I could have just shown up and I could have just moved him to my team. So in this universe there are now two Jonathan Justins. I mean, it's turn up for the Bucks. Al Mutaki, I feel like I'm feeling an intro coming on, folks. I'm not sure what kind of intro. Mutaki hits the woodwork. Shanine out on the right-hand side. He keeps it in. Can he get it in? Dizon. Goes to Adodi. They're trying to play it out from the back and they've just kicked it straight for a throw-in. 25 minutes left. I mean, Chapeau, come on down. Ngayala's not been good enough today. I don't really have faith in Yassine to come on and make a massive difference for us. So instead, we're going to take off Birene Bar, switch the role to a deep line playmaker, and I think we're going to have to go a little bit more attacking here. Just up the tempo, a little bit more direct. Let's get the ball forward, please, boys. It's time to get shouty. It's time to demand more. We've been the better team here. Oh, I can't slip up to Toulouse Metropole again. I hate them so much. Please, someone do something. I'm already so attacking. I don't really want to change the fullbacks to be more attacking, because when I've done that, it's backfired more often than not. But there comes a time and point where you have to make some changes. I'm going to bring in Yassine for Mutaki, who really has not shown up today. Yassine hasn't got a great deal of time here to have an impact, has he? And time is just trickling away. We're going to lose again against Toulouse Metropole. And the worst thing of all is it's our own player who gets man of the match. I mean, I imagine the French Football Federation are going to be calling tomorrow and asking about what the hell is going on there. Who is the player that we've registered for our team? Answers on a postcard. We're 1-0 down and it's just game over. Really, now we need Fun to have slipped up. Have Fun slipped up? Of course they haven't. They've won 4-1. They're 2 points behind us. Toulouse 4 points behind us. Oh my word. It could well go down to the wire and that last game of the season, although I will say we have got the kinder of the runs in now to the end of the year. We've got Saint-Ouen, who are in 7th, Perpignan, who are in 11th, Balleroquois, who are in 12th, Peut-être in 6th. I mean, we should be winning all of these, but there is a slim chance that going into the last game of the season against Revel, it could all be on the line. Toulouse Metropole, have you got to play Fun still? Oh, they haven't got to play them. They played recently, and Fun actually leapfrogged them with the win there. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh. I don't want to alarm anyone, but I feel like this could go down to the wire, and I am more nervous than I was about 21 minutes ago about this whole situation. Right, I'm going to go away. I'm going to have a youth intake. A new crop of babies are going to appear at our team. We're going to nurture them into first team regulars, I am certain. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I don't know what to do about John Justin. If you've got a nickname suggestion for our John Justin, please let me know. Right, we've got to go away. Jack, remain calm. Tomorrow, big episode, big moment, end of season 1. Are we going into the playoffs or are we going to stay top? It's all on the line. All the marbles are there to be played for, and hopefully you're going to be there to see me pick up all the marbles and take them home and claim them as my own. That metaphor went far too deep. Let's move on. I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you for your support as always. It's me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.